Well, I finally found my patriotic project to make my quilt to commemorate the 250th year of America. I love these gals and have made 2 of their quilt patterns, and I'm about to embark on another one, and I have chosen this one. It's called Fireworks, so it looks like a firework if you look at this block right here. So it's got some half square triangles and just some rectangles and some sashing. So it should be super easy. So let me show you which fabrics I found in my stash that I'm going to use. I got this one at a local quilt shop, so this will be my fabric number 1. It's my focus fabric. It is the fabric that's going to be the base of each of the fireworks here, the firecrackers. And then number 2 is going to be this really cute fabric that I got at Shabby Fabrics last time I was in town, which was last month. It was the first time I ever visited, and I absolutely loved it. You should really go and check out their website. It's amazing. As well as Fabric Cafe. I love both of these. So I'm kind of combining them into one quilt. And so that white is going to go everywhere you see this white. It'll be the sashing and right in here with the firecracker. And then my number 3 is this really cute. It almost looks like it's got like this crosshatch design, which kind of gives an illusion of a spark, I think. And so I thought that would just be perfect for the firecracker right here where it explodes. So we're going to get started. Since this is not my pattern, I'm not going to give you step by step, but I'm just going to give you a general summary so you will just fall in love with Fabric Cafe like I have. I love their quilt patterns. They're great for beginners and just kind of a fun, quick project that you don't want to spend months on. So let's get started. None of my fabrics are directional, so I don't really have to worry about anything going a certain direction. I thought that would be best for this one. You could use a directional on the base of the firecracker, but I think with this, with the floral, it'll just kind of dress it up a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and cut according to their instructions, and then we can start assembling. So I have everything cut out. Here's my number 1 fabric. This will be the base of the firecracker. And I have everything labeled as they asked. Unit A assembly, Unit B, half square triangle assembly. That's going to be the flame. And then I have my sashing and my 2 borders. The only thing I didn't cut out right now was the binding, because I do my binding just a little bit different, and I just thought I would wait. To make the half square triangles, you're going to want to take one of the dark and one of the light, put them right sides together, should be the pretty sides together. And then once you have your right sides together, you're going to want to draw a line from point to point, right in the center. I'm using a friction pen. It's just a heat erasable. It is my favorite. And then draw a line 1/4 of an inch on each side. That is your stitching line. The center line is not your stitching line. That will be your cutting line after you've stitched on each side. You're going to do that with all of the squares. And now we're going to take it to the sewing machine and we're going to sew on that right line that we drew. I have my stitch length at about 2.5, and I'm just stitching right down that line. And then I'm going to flip it around, and then I'm going to stitch down that other line that's on the right at this point. What you don't want to do is stitch down that line. That's your cut. And now we're going to stitch all of them, and I'm going to start chain stitching because it just makes things a lot quicker. So I'm going to just put one under the sewing machine, and I'm going to grab the next one without even cutting the thread, and I'm just going to keep going. I have them all stitched. And so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just snip these off so they are individual. So there's 24. I started sewing them separately and then I realized I should be chain piecing these. So I think it's easier. It just keeps a continuous loop. But if you're not comfortable doing that, go ahead and do them separately. So I'm just going to go ahead and snip off all of these so they are individual. And I did 24. And so when I cut these in half, I will have 48 half square triangles. So really super simple. It just takes a minute, but it's not hard. It was actually one of the first things I learned when I started quilting last year. I've been quilting almost a year, and this was one of the first techniques. So once you can kind of master this and get the chain piecing going, it really doesn't take that long. Even though 48 sounds like a lot, one quilt I made for my dad, I'll go ahead and put a picture of that right here. There were 96. That did seem like a lot. 96, and I was still new to quilting, but I got through it, and Dad loves the quilt. I did a quilt of valor for him. All right, so I've almost got these snipped. All right, so here's all my 24. And then the next thing I'm going to do is this line right here down the center. That's going to be my cut line. So I'll just go ahead and use this little tool right here. And I'm just going to cut down the middle so I have two. And then when I open them up, I will go ahead and iron them towards the red side and then block them out so they're exactly 2.5 by 2.5. So we'll trim them up just to make sure. But for right now, I'll go ahead and just cut these right down the middle. All right, so it seems like a lot, but I think once I get this part done of the quilt, this is the most tedious part. Then we'll do the block assemblies, and then we're ready to start putting it together. So that's one thing I like about Fabric Cafe. I found them when I first started sewing, or not sewing, but quilting, and I really liked their idea of picking 3 fabrics. It seems simple, and I found out it really was. And so you find your focus fabric, just your basic fabric that you really, really like. It's kind of your favorite of the whole thing. And then you'll find a light and then a dark. And then the way they put it together, it's just perfect. I really love this method. I have not done the 5-yard quilts yet because I kind of like to keep things small. I have 2 large quilts I'm working on right now, and I really don't need a ton of large quilts. So that's why I think Fabric Cafe's 3-yard quilts are perfect because you can just throw them over the couch, take them for a picnic. I think it's great. So during this video, like I said, since it's not my pattern, I'm not showing you the details. That's just not fair to Fran and Donna. Go ahead. I'm going to link their book below directly to their website. And they also sell fabrics. So go ahead and pick out some fabrics that you like. This is from a stash, and I don't even know if they're available anymore. I am using a Riley Blake and a Moda fabric. I'm not sure what the third one was, but just regular quilting cotton works. Use whatever you have in your stash, or go ahead and find some fabric at your local quilt shop, or look on fabriccafe.com. They sometimes will have kits. I don't know if they'll have this kit available. Maybe, since it's around the 4th of July. I know I'm late kind of coming to the party on my 250th quilt, but hey, it's okay. I figure we can do it all year long. And then one thing I really want to do, I bought a Poulin EOC 05 embroidery machine. And I want to find a machine embroidery design that commemorates the 250th year and go ahead and embroider it on this quilt. That way I will know from here on, and so will my family after I'm gone. Now what we want to do is I like to just go ahead and set that stitching line right there. And then we are going to just bring this over and iron it towards the red, towards the dark side. So it won't show through. If it may show through if we did it on the other side. And then once we have it ironed, we're going to go ahead and block them out. Now we're ready to square these up to 2.5 inches. So there is 2.5 right there. And what I like to do, let's move this around, is have this line, that 45-degree line, go right through that seam right there. And I like to have just a little bit on all sides, just so I can square up each side. All right, now I can turn this around and then I'll have my 2.5. All right, so there's my 2.5 inch square. I'm going to do that to all 48. At this point, I'm ready to put my Unit B assembly together. And it's going to be a half square triangle, just a solid piece, and then another half square triangle. I have 12 of those. And then my Unit A assembly will be just a square, a half square triangle, and a square. So I'll get all of those put together, and then we can make our friendship star and go ahead and really basically put all of the quilt top together. Now I have my Unit A assembly done and my Unit B. So we're going to go ahead and make the friendship stars. So this one goes in the middle, just like that. So we can actually put all of these. We're just going to stack them up. And then we're going to put half of our Unit A's, let's see, right here, like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These are going to go just like that. And then the rest of these, make sure that they're all going the right direction. So it's like this. We're just going to rotate them, and this is going to be our block. This is our friendship block. So we're going to stitch down through here, and we're going to stitch down through here, and we should have 12 of these blocks. So I do have 12 of each, and I'm going to go ahead and take one of the center, one of the one on the left side, and I want to be sure to nest my seams. And really all that means is one side goes this way, the other side goes that way. You can pin them if you want. Sometimes I do, but I think these are going to nest just perfectly. So we're going to do all of those, and then we will come back and add the third one. Now I've got all of my friendship star blocks done, and I'm just ready to press them. Now we can either just press them towards one side, or we can open up the seams. But the first thing you want to do is just set the seam with your iron. And since we're not going to have any more really bulky items, because this is going to go on the bottom, you can just go to one side if you'd like. Just like that. And it'll be fine. If you prefer to open your seams, not a problem. So the next thing we're going to do is take this piece and stitch along there, and then we have this block. I do have everything laid out on my bed, and all I'm doing is going in vertical rows. Normally you go in horizontal, but this one just works with the vertical. So I'm adding the sashing, and then I'll add the 2 borders, and the quilt top will be done. And just like that, this quilt top came together so fast. I couldn't believe it. I started sewing yesterday and all I had were pieces. And in a matter, I think it was about 3 hours, I got it all complete. So it's 42 inches wide by 65, I believe, inches long. So today I went and looked for my backing. I got my batting and my binding. I'm going to share all of that with you in the next video, but I will give you a little preview of what the backing is going to look like. Things were slim pickings where I was getting it. So this is what I found for the backing at my local quilt shop. I just thought it would look really cute and it kind of make it like reversible. And then I found this at my Hobby Lobby for the binding. In video 3, I will show you how I do the binding and add my final touches. When I was at Quilt Club the other day, there was a lady that was sharing her patriotic quilt, and it was absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it was stunning. And here's what I'm kind of taking off of it is she put this gold binding on it. And I asked her, I said, that's really unique. I love that. How, we didn't pick up the red or the white or the blue, but we picked up that gold. And the reason why she did that was she noticed the flags in Washington, D.C. had the gold tassels. And so that was her inspiration. So I thought, that's what I'm doing for this one. Because I don't know if you can see it, but in this pattern here, there is gold. You can hardly see it, but when I'm looking at, it's almost like a metallic gold there. I hope you can see that. So I thought this will really be such a nice addition. And this is just like a muted, I mean, it's gold for sure. So stay tuned in video 3 as I add the binding. I'm going to show you how I do it. And then I'm going to add a really special machine embroider spot on the quilt to commemorate the 250 years of America. So I hope this quilt will be around for a really long time. And I just wanted to make one, for my future family, for them to look back on that this was a really special year.